Afternoon, Badgers. My angry pagan here. So I came across this um, as I was looking for you know UK nature news and environment news and stuff, and I found this on government.uk, a press release from the 22nd from my payday, um, from the 22nd. Planning proposals to unblock vital infrastructure and drive nature's recovery. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this. Before we do, please badger the like button, badger the subscribe button, and please give me comments. Like, engage with me on these things, please. So, from the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, the Right Honourable Angela Rayner, and the Right Honourable Steve Reed. Okay. So this is a partnership between Steve Reed and Angela Rayner on this. Interesting. So, part of government's plan for change commitment, helping deliver 150 planning decisions on major infrastructure measures, will create a win-win for nature and the economy, accelerating economic growth. Okay. Measures to unblock much-needed infrastructure projects while supporting nature recovery at a scale will be included in proposals for the Planning and Infrastructure Bill this year. I will be paying attention to that. The government has announced today, as part of its plan for change on the 22nd of January, these common sense changes will help deliver on the government's commitment to make 150 major infrastructure project decisions by the end of this parliament. Okay, we'll see what these are. While also helping to halt and reverse the decline of species in natural habitats. To me, that's the important bit. These reforms will help to speed up projects including new wind farms, railways, I wanted to... Okay, I know, I just said the decline of species in natural habitats was the important bit for me, but this is also important. Like, they're actually talking about new railways, new wind farms, railways, and roads. Railways. For me, that's actually important because sea level rise is going to eat away at the Exeter to Paignton line. So, at least at several points of it, rendering the railway unusable, and that's going to happen in the next 10 to 15 years. So yeah, I like that. Gigafactories and data centers across the country. Okay. Under current rules, infrastructure projects must secure mitigation or compensation for environmental harm to some protected sites and species before being granted planning permission, adding costs and delays to planning process. Developers are required to identify and meet environmental obligations, typically on a project by project basis, and this misses opportunities to find strategic solutions with the greatest benefits for nature. Okay. The government will set up a nature restoration fund, enabling infrastructure builders to meet their environmental obligations faster and at a greater scale by pooling contributions from developers to fund larger strategic interventions for nature. Okay. Okay. I was getting worried for a minute. This actually sounds, unless someone can point out the flaws on this that I can't see, this sounds actually good. This actually sounds like a good idea. This approach will mean the burden of individual site level assessments and delivering mitigation and compensation is reduced. So, see, I thought that my brain was going down the line of thinking that this was going to mean that they were going to like reduce those regulations. Do that. Don't fucking do that. No, what they're going to do is make it so that these things can be funded, and you know, like there's no delays over this stuff, over not knowing whether or not, you know, you're going to be able to pay it, or trying to get the money together to pay it, or I like this. Yeah, and delivering mitigation and compensation is reduced. In many cases, a single payment will enable development to proceed. Interesting. I do still want to like see how this ends up. We'll have to see the details of it when the bill goes through Parliament. A delivery body such as Natural England will then look at the actions needed to drive protected site and species recovery at a strategic, not site-based site scale. Interesting. They will then take in responsibility for securing positive environmental outcomes that infrastructure developers are not in a position to implement independently. Okay. Bringing Natural England into this, they've got issues themselves, but okay. These could be delivering a reduction in pollution affecting the water environment, or securing nesting habitats to increase the population of protected species, for example. Yeah. These changes will get rid of time-intensive and costly processes involved in project-specific interventions, with payments into the fund allowing building to proceed whilst wider action is taken to secure the environmental outcomes we need. Okay. I can't say I like what I'm hearing. To support government's growth mission, a new £70 million package for this year was confirmed at the budget to support the delivery of new infrastructure whilst boosting nature recovery. See, that I was worried, about that. That was, you know, are we really gonna do that? And it looks like they are gonna do it, and they're not gonna do it by reducing regulations. They're gonna do it by making it so that these companies can actually, you know, actually have the money to do all this. I like that idea. Um, ES Secretary Steve Reed said, Environment Secretary Steve Reed said, nature and development have been unnecessarily pitted against each other for too long. This has blocked economic growth but done nothing for nature's recovery. Yeah, to a point. Communities and the environment deserve better than this broken status quo. As a part of government's plan for change, these reforms will unblock infrastructure projects whilst protecting the natural environment we all depend on. We can now look forward to 150 key infrastructure projects going forward within the next few years, okay, whilst also providing more funding to protect and restore nature. DPM and Secretary of State for Housing, Angela Rayner, said, we have inherited a failing system that has seen vital infrastructure being held up year after year whilst witnessing devastating decline of our natural environment, precious wildlife and protected species. That's why we're taking a new approach to reversing this decline, striking the right balance so developers can meet their environmental obligations at a pace while removing needless barriers to build the infrastructure that local communities are crying out for. This government's plan for change will get Britain building and deliver win-win results for both development and the environment, which will not only guarantee a comeback for nature recovery, but also higher living standards, more well-paying jobs, and a greater prosperity for all. Okay. Okay, interesting. Tony Juniper, chair of Natural England, said, "It is evident that we need to take action to address the worsening decline of nature, and we must also lean into the challenges posed by housing and infrastructure shortages. We will continue to work with government to help deliver their plans, but the two key issues of today, nature and economic recovery, should not be pit against each other as we step up efforts to avoid losing what protected remnants of nature remain, whilst also restoring some of what is gone." Yeah. Instead, we should consider the huge opportunities which can be unlocked through better strategic planning, which considers environmental improvements, economic development, and green spaces for public enjoyment on a landscape scale. See, I still think people in this country have a warped idea of what nature is, because we've sanitized our natural habitat. Like, the countryside isn't natural; it's man-made. Farmers might fucking argue on that one, but it is. So, yeah. But this still sounds good. I still do like this. The proposals are set out in a new working paper with stakeholders including clean power and housing developers, communities, nature service providers, and local authorities feeding in views. Okay, this working paper will inform the next stage of policy development. Okay, I'm definitely gonna be trying to keep up with this. Government intends to use the Planning and Infrastructure Bill to introduce any legislative changes to drive action at strategic level, which will provide certainty for both developers and the environment. Okay? If moved into law, these changes would establish a more efficient and effective way for habitats regulations and other environmental obligations to be discharged, pooling individual contributions to deliver the strategic interventions necessary to drive nature recovery. These proposals will also support the government's plan for change milestone to build 1.5 million new homes, including a £47 million boost to unlock tens of thousands of new homes installed by nutrient neutrality rules. Okay. This paper is the latest in a series of working papers on different aspects of planning and reform. Okay, so this is a working paper on it as well. I might go over that at some point. Planning reform working paper, brownfield passport. Planning proposals get. Okay. Alright. Okay, I quite like this. Obviously, we need more we're going to need more details. That's the certainty. But I have to say, this is pretty good. I like this idea. I if it works, that'd be grand. That'd be amazing. I do like when it came to infrastructure. I do like how they said about railways, and I do hope that some of that pertains to the to South Devon and north to the southwest as a whole. To be fair, I do like how Natural England is involved with this. I'm hoping the British Ecological Society will also be involved in this. Um, I have to have a look at the working paper on that one, which will be a whole other video. I'm not doing it now, but again, This is going to be what I think. This is going to be one where throughout the year, whenever new developments come up, I'll do a video on this. But I like this. This sounds good to me. What do you think? Where I do like where they've got the idea. Like they're almost taking this the national wealth funds idea and disseminating it to different things. I like this nature restoration fund. If it works, could be brilliant. And this came up via Byline Times. This is how I found about it because I was searching through UK climate news and stuff and the environment news, and I found this. So I'd go straight to the government UK to look at it. But yeah, I like this. Let me know what you guys think. This to me is really promising. I know Labour are fucking up elsewhere, but this I do think has promise. Let me know what you guys think on this, alright? My shield at your backs, guys. My sword at your service. Bless the bee badges and go weird.